When to retire? That is a good question. And people who face the four things in this video head on tend to get closer to that answer. Our priorities shift as we get older. When we're younger, we're thinking about investing so that we can someday be rich. But then as we get older, we tend to think about just not dying poor. Do I have enough money saved? How much will healthcare cost? How should I take my Social Security? What should I do if the market crashes right after I retire? Will I have enough money to live the rest of my life without running out? These are all really good questions, and it just goes to show you that the uncertainties of retirement planning, they don't really go away even after you retire. We want to eliminate our uncertainties, but we really can't do that. The best we can do is reduce them and be as wise as we can possibly be. And we do need to be as wise as we can be, because even if inflation was only 2%, that would mean that we would need to double our expenses during our lifetime of retirement. Now, I'm going to show you the clues that people engage in to reduce the uncertainty and help them to get closer to the answer of when can I retire? So the first thing is, know what it's going to cost to fund your lifestyle. You can't even begin to know if you have enough to retire if you don't know what it's going to cost. When we're younger, it may seem daunting to try to figure out what our expenses are going to be for the future, but as we get older, it becomes a little bit more clear in how much we're going to spend, even though when we do figure it out, we do have to understand that knowing what you're going to spend in the future is really just a best guess. I'll comment on what I mean by best guess towards the end of this video. A question that you can ask when you're figuring this out is, what am I no longer going to spend money on? Will a mortgage be paid off? Will consumer debts be going away? Will a child no longer be on payroll? We should account for those things that we're no longer going to be paying for. We also want to take a really good look at our fixed expenses. You see, high fixed expenses make retirement more difficult. Fixed expenses are those things that are fixed. You can't really vary them like you can cable TV. If you get your fixed expenses down, it can really increase the way you feel about being ready to retire. And that brings us to a second thing, and it's nearly impossible to understand if we can retire or when we can retire if we don't fully understand our sources of stable income. So for most people, that's going to just be Social Security. But for other people, it's going to be Social Security plus a pension. And even for other people, it may be Social Security plus a second home that we're renting for income. But we really want to have a grasp on where our stable income sources are coming from. The third thing is, these people, they know how they're going to spend their time. A recent poll by the Department of Labor showed how most people spend their time after they retire. And so you can see in this infographic that they put out that there's a lot of watching TV and relaxing and leisure. And, you can see the big circle for sleeping time. And it says here, on average, Americans over the age of 65 spent more time watching TV in 2021 than they did in 2011. And older adults spent less time socializing, less time volunteering, and attending religious services. So what we can take away from this is that maybe we should spend more time on figuring out how we're going to be socializing, how we're going to be connecting, and maybe what we're going to be doing spiritually in that next season of life. So a clue to kind of identify if you can retire or when you can retire is knowing how you're going to spend your time, being more aware of where you're going to contribute, how you're going to connect. Now, I've said this before, it takes a genuine effort. It's difficult for a lot of people. For some people, it's not difficult at all. But if you don't make that genuine effort, then 8 hours of work gets replaced with 8 hours of TV. As a quick reminder, if you are not a subscriber, please make sure you do so. I have a lot of content we put out on a regular basis. And the only way I can make sure you see that is if you hit that subscribe button. So before we move on to the final and most important point, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. All right, which brings us to the fourth and most important point, and that is a flexible planning process. A few minutes ago, I mentioned that we make a best guess. That's the best that you can do. It's required. There's no way to be completely certain. So to reduce certainty, you make your best guess. You could spend a decade looking at spreadsheets only to find out that your assumptions were wrong. You could get your spending exactly right on, But then you'd still have to figure out how much money you're going to pull from your portfolio and from which investments and how to do it as tax efficiently as possible. You see, this is why financial planning is not a one-time event. You don't just create a plan and then go on in life and everything's great. You never have to come back to it. It has to be a flexible process that keeps you pointed at your due north. The best plans are certainly diversified, and they're able to take note of major changes and make some corrections, but they also are aware of how spending is going to evolve, how investments are going to pan out. And so we take our best guess and we check back in with the plan. You know, there's never a perfect time to retire. And I know it's not popular to say that. You may not want to hear that, but ultimately we do what we can to reduce uncertainties, and having a plan that's flexible and a framework that's flexible can go a long way in helping us to arrive at that decision, because we do have to make a decision as to when are we going to stop working. What about you? How do you feel about stopping work? Let me know in the comments. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you'd like to see the way that we help people to create calmness and clarity for their next chapter of life, take a look at us at brindleandbay.com. Again, thanks for watching the videos. Please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time a new video comes out.